project, I started with a 4 by 12 inch canvas that I had painted with acrylic apple barrel paint, the color Caribbean. And on the back of it, I had put painter's tape to catch the resin drips. And then I put it up on 3 cups. I know some of you normally do not put the resin on the sides, but for this Dawn Power Wash, you need to resin the sides of the project. And this way, when it drips down, it will not adhere to whatever paper you have under it or pool around the edges. So the resin I'm using for this project is art resin. I used about 2 ounces, dumped it on the top, and spread it around the top and along the edges of the canvas. And then I used my little kitchen torch to get rid of the bubbles. Just remember to keep the torch moving so that you do not burn the resin. 2 days after I poured the resin, I took it out to the garage and covered a baking dish with this aluminum foil, took Dawn dish spray and sprayed it along all the edges and on the top. Then I took Rust-Oleum white paint and primer and sprayed all the edges and the top. And I let it sit for maybe 30 seconds after I sprayed the Dawn and maybe 30 seconds after I sprayed the spray paint. And then I had 2 cups of water out there and I dumped it over the top and washed it off. Really very simple, and I think it turns out so cool. I took some tiny starfish that I had and I sprayed them with a gold metallic spray paint. Then after this had dried, actually I think it dried overnight, and I did take the painter's tape off the back where the resin had dripped onto the next morning, and I replaced it with more painter's tape. And again, I'm putting it up on the cups, and I'm going to be making a Christmas tree with this green shell chips, seashell chips I guess they call it. And this I actually picked up on Amazon. It was 2 pounds for $16.99. And I'm going to show you later on or at the end of the video how you can get green chips, because you cannot find them anywhere. Amazon was the only place I could find them. How you can make them and not pay so much money. So the star that I put at the top is actually a necklace, a piece from a necklace that I've had a long time, and knew I was going to use it at some point for a Christmas tree, so I figured I'd go ahead and use that. I put all my little starfish on the Christmas tree. I ended up painting a few more. And then I also had some small and large pearls that I put all over the Christmas tree also. For the trunk, I used a mother of pearl earring, and I used my little paint pen, my metallic gold paint pen, and painted the top of it gold. And I used that for the trunk, and then I just put a few shells and pearls at the very bottom of the tree. So now it's ready for the resin. It is up on a couple of cups. The resin I'm using for this is art resin again. That's what was initially on the canvas. And I just drizzle it over all of the crushed seashells. And I got to make sure that you put enough on so that it drips down in between all of them, and so that you don't lose any when you pick it up after it's done drying. I put it on the canvas, and I did take the star off so that I could get underneath the star real well. And I just push it around with the spoon, and then I take my hand and I spread it around the edges of the canvas also. I like to put the resin on the edges. Some people don't. And if you don't, and you're just going to dome it on the top, you don't need to put it up on cups. And as you can see, I have the shells down at the bottom, and I'm just straightening everything out. And honestly, it was really a pretty easy project. I've got some of the chips, the shell chips on the side, and I was just going to hit it with the heat gun, because I know sometimes some colorants will come out when you use the torch on them. We had done some experiments months ago with the alcohol inks, and that seemed to accelerate the bleeding process when it's been colored. I just wanted to make sure if I was going to hit it with the kitchen torch that the green wasn't going to start running. I usually get down eye level and check to make sure that there's no empty spots on the canvas that I have to push the resin over. When I'm done with the project, I come back every 15 minutes and check for glass movement, check for bubbles and retorch if I need to. I also use a little toothpick to get sediment out if I happen to see any. This resin cures best at temperatures between 75 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. To read the directions for the resin that you are using, because all resins are different. To prevent dust from getting into your project, it's in your best interest to cover it with a dust cover. I just wanted to show you real quick the shell chips that I got on Amazon for $16.99. 2 pounds, real pretty shell chips, Amazon, 2 pounds, $16.99. Here they're $3.29 for the blue ones, 1 pound, and you can get them on sale usually for about $2. They're 40 to 50% off. And then here's the plain ones, $2.49, and if they're 40 to 50% off, they can be down as low as $1.25, I guess. Those were all from Hobby Lobby, and this is the display in Hobby Lobby with the different colors, but they do not have green. They just have the regular and then a couple mixed colors and the real pretty blue. So much cheaper. Now these are from Michaels, and these are much smaller chips from Michaels. And I really like the larger chips, but this is 2 pounds for $7.99, or when you get them on sale for about $5.19, depending on your coupon that you have. And so like I said, these are the larger chips, and I'm going to go ahead and try to color them to see if we can get them to look like the ones for $16.99, but for a quarter, or even less than a quarter of a price. So I'm using the Dr. Martin's Bombay Indian ink, and I've done a previous video about these. They do not fade, they do not run, they do not need to be sealed. And I'm going to use I think this is grass green. And I'm just going to take some of the larger chips, pour them in a cup, and then put some drops on and mix them up. At this point, I think I've put a little bit too much on it, and I do end up adding some more chips in a second. But first, I want to show you the original ones that I got for $16.99 on Amazon. And the coverage on those looks really nice. They're not spotted, it's translucent. You can still see the pearl through it, and they're really very pretty. But, and here I'm going to show you these close up. And like I said, I put too much in there. And they're just, to me, they're kind of spotty, but we're going to add some more chips and then let them dry out, and we'll look at them again in the morning. And then I just dump them out on some wax paper to dry overnight. So next I'm going to do it with the alcohol ink, and the alcohol ink I have here is Ranger alcohol ink, and I've done some experiments, and now the Ranger alcohol ink was one of the ones that faded the most, and I don't know if it had to do with the product itself or the color of the product, because it was really kind of confusing. You'll have to look back at the video. And the other thing with alcohol inks, after you cover them, you really need to seal them to make sure that they don't bleed, because some of them will bleed, especially when you put your torch or heat on them. So here I put a few drops on, and they're kind of a yellowy green, and I really want them a little darker. So you do, with the alcohol ink, you do have to put quite a bit on to bring them up to the color that you want. And like I said, I just shake them up. You can stir them with a spoon, and they look real pretty. I feel like the color is more translucent. It's not leaving spots like the Bombay Indian ink does, even though I like the Bombay Indian ink better because of it doesn't fade and it doesn't run. But I really wanted to compare these two, and then I go ahead and I dump these out onto the wax paper also, and we'll let these dry overnight, and we'll take a look at them in the morning. And now I'm holding up the original $16.99 2 pound from Amazon. You can see the difference in the colors, and I'm almost thinking the one I got on Amazon is more of a blue-green. Hey everyone. So this is my Christmas in July project. I guess I'm not very creative. I made a Christmas tree, but this is my coastal Christmas tree. And I was thinking after I did it, I should have made this in blue. It would have been, I thought this really dark blue would have looked really pretty against that light blue. But this is what I did. So my only suggestion for you guys is I made these little, I didn't make them. I have these little starfish, and my one cracked off up there. So when you put them on, put them in spots where they're supported behind it. Because look at, I'm looking at this one. I don't know if you can see it. There's nothing behind it. And if you sell your stuff or ship it, I could just see that getting knocked off real easily. So just make sure there's some kind of support. It's sitting on something that's a little bit more secure than what I did. And so this top, you can see from the side, is actually was a necklace, a piece of a necklace that I had that I'd been waiting to use for a coastal Christmas tree topper. And this here is actually a mother of pearl earring. And I painted the top a little bit red, but I thought, gold. I thought that made kind of a cool trunk for the tree. Anyway, the Dawn dish spray, or Dawn Powerwash, I guess they call it, is how I got the effect on it. And there was actually a lady on our Facebook group that did this adorable, I think it was like a 4x4 canvas with a green wreath on it that was real pretty. And I made something else using the Dawn Powerwash after I saw her wreath. And I just think it's such a cool effect, especially for coastal art. But I would like to experiment with it more and maybe have that effect for things that aren't coastal, you know, using different colors. But anyway, all in all, I think it turned out cute. I hope you guys enjoyed the project. The thing with this was, for some reason, I was determined to use green shells for this project, and the only place I could find green shells was on Amazon, $16.99, 2 pounds, whereas you could get the blue ones for, these are $3.29 and from Hobby Lobby, and you know Hobby Lobby always puts their glass and stuff at 40 to 50% off, so you can get this lower than $2 for 1 pound, so $4 for 2 pounds compared to $16.99 for 2 pounds. But I couldn't find green anywhere. And I did end up finding this at Hobby Lobby also for under $2 on sale. And so you can color it. And I tried coloring it, and I'll show you in 1 second here. This is the next day, and this is the Bombay ink that I used, and it's still all splotchy. So what I did was I used the Bombay ink again, and this time I took a paper towel and kind of blotted it, and it turned out really nice. And then the one in the back is the Ranger alcohol ink that turned out real pretty, but I don't really like using alcohol ink. If you guys do, I think this is very pretty. It's just with alcohol ink you have problems with fading and running. You do need to seal it. I think it's in your best interest to seal it. And then here, this is painted with the TAMIYA translucent spray paint, and it is more of a blue green, and this is the original one that I paid $16.99 for on the right. So those are kind of similar in color. It's a little bit more blue-green. So anyway, everywhere else I looked, and these are the larger shell chips, whereas at Michael's and at Walmart, they're the smaller chips, which would work also, but they still didn't have it in green. And this is $7.99 for 2 pounds compared to the $16.99. And if you have a coupon, it can go as low as a little over $5. So that, you know, these are a good deal, and you can, you know, color them in either of any of the ways that I showed you, or just, you know, use what they have available. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoy the channel, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when future videos come out. The Facebook page has an amazing group of people who are displaying beautiful artwork, very helpful, no questions too silly. Come join us there, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.